everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Trove Let's Play. Today is gonna be all about foraging, which is arguably one of the most important things in the game. But before we do that, let's do our ever exciting opening of our Chaos Chest. I'm gonna try to do one of those per video. Hopefully by the time my alpha tester, beta tester thing, patron time runs out, I will have mastery level 100, so we still will be getting one cache a day that we can open, hopefully. And so let's do it. So let's open it up. Drum roll. I don't know what it's going to be. Common bottles. Bummer. Not really anything that I feel strongly about. But that's okay, because we still got an awesome day. But before we hop into our awesome day, I just want to say something, and I need you guys' help big time. So, channel's been blowing up. We're over 2K subscribers. Thank you guys so much. I really appreciate that. I think I've almost doubled my subscribers in the past week alone. That's not true, but it's almost true, which is so cool. I really appreciate that. But there's this problem where everyone wants to get into the club world, and I want you all in the club world so bad. I mean, we thanks to the live streams, we're almost 150 members strong, which is crazy. But and the maximum is 600, so there's totally room left for everybody. Only thing is, adding people to the club world is, as you guys all probably know by now, not easy whatsoever. Oh, look at that, more bottles for us. And that is because we both have to be online. So I have over 300, I think around 300 people on the waiting list who have let me know in the comments, about 100 of which have come in the past week alone, who want in on the club, and I want you guys in there, and I'm reading your comments. I'm going to stop responding to those, though, because it takes me forever to respond with, hey, I added you to the invite list, hey, I added you to the invite list, and it's pointless, because I log on here, and then I have to go through 300 names. I have to go here, here, type out your name, invite, and then it says you're not online, and then I have to do it for 300 names every time I log in, and that's just a system that honestly is not working for me, and it's obviously not working for you because you guys aren't getting into the club. And I know you guys feel like, oh, I want to be in the club, and it's been so long since I posted, so maybe I'll post again. And it's really something that Trove should work on. I don't know, it's not really built for this kind of a situation where you're trying to invite people to the club outside the club, apparently. So I want you guys' help to think of another way. I thought about doing a Google Doc where you guys could add your own names to the list, which would save me half the trouble, but that doesn't really help because then I still have to invite everybody. So I don't know. My best suggestion if you want in on this club is to follow me on Twitch, join on a live stream when I'm streaming Trove, because I will put you down there. I will get you in there right away, immediately, and that's how we've gotten 150 members. So I just wanted to get that out there, that I'm no longer going to be able to accept club members. I'll try. I still have the list. I'll still try with the list I have every now and then, but probably not that frequently. And we will get you in some way, but as of right now, the YouTube comments is not going to be that way, so just letting you know. Alright, that is that. Sorry, that took a little bit of a rant. I hope you guys understand. I really apologize for those of you that have come recently and want in on the club and just haven't gotten an invite. There are people who have been waiting for months who haven't gotten an invite because we're in different time zones and it never happens to be online. Plus, it's hard right now because the time when I like to record, I have to wait about 30 minutes to get in through the queue. So that's kind of absurd, and by that time, I mean, I'm recording this super late normally. I'm probably going to have to upload this tomorrow at this point. So it's just, it's a whole slew of things that make it so that this system won't work. Anyways, let's hop in to the foraging. I got my forages right here, and I got my gear, my best gear right here, and I'm going to talk to you about how we make this best gear even better gear. Alright folks, so let's start with the 3 forges that are in the game and how you get a hold of them. The normal forge. This forge is responsible for increasing the level or the stars on your gear. I guess maybe a better place to start would be what actually the gear looks like. So you can see that we have, I have all shadow level gear here. If I switch my class to like my pirate captain, who has lower level gear, you can see 1 shadow and 2 rainbow or resplendent, R-E-S-P-L-E-N-T, resplendent. I've never been able to say that. I don't know how to say it correctly, so we're just going to go with rainbow. And you can see that they have different levels of stars. If I go over here to, like, I don't know, maybe my shadow hunter, what does he look like? Wow, that is... Oh, there we go. We have a relic, which is the red gear. You can see that this ring is a relic ring, and it has 5 stars next to its name. So that means that it is very close to being able to be brought up into resplendent level, but you cannot forge rings. So here is a festive finery, whatever. It's a hat, a relic level hat. If I go over here to the forge, and I put it in, I can spend flux to increase its stars, and once I fill up with 5 stars, I can spend some flux and some other resources in order to bring it from relic into rainbow, and then it can continue doing that, and rainbow into shadow if you have the right resources. Let's go back to our best gear though. So when you get to shadow level gear, there are 5 tiers of shadow level gear before you move on to radiant gear, which is the best and super hard to get. But the tiers are, as you can see under the word hat there, shadow level, I don't think I can do that, no, yeah, shadow level 3, this one is shadow level 3, that's shadow level 3, that's shadow level 2, my ring is shadow level 2, it goes all the way up to shadow level 5, and it's basically the same as like going from relic to rainbow, but you're going from shadow 1 to shadow 2, but it's basically the same thing, it's another level. Every time you advance from relic to rainbow, or even the lower level tier, every time you go from a shadow level to a higher shadow level, you increase your character's level. So you can see that I'm a level 18 Tomb Raiser down here, but I'm actually level 29. And the way I'm 29 is that this here adds 3 levels, bringing us to 21. This thing adds 3 levels, 24, adds 3 levels, 27, adds 2 levels, 29. See how that works? Yeah, see? Yeah, yeah. So that's why it's so important, is it is the only way for you to get into places like U5, which you need to be level 26 to enter, or U6, which is 36 to enter, or the Sky Realm, 26 to enter, and that kind of a thing. So that is why forging is the most important thing in the game, if you ask me. Let's go ahead and put these models that we harvested away. Okay, so now we can talk about the different forges, because we can see what weapon stats look like, or at least what the weapon levels are. Now, the other thing I should mention though is that as you forge them, of course, the stats increase. That's why I have 2.5k maximum health on this hat alone. That's why I have over 1,000 magic damage on this staff alone, as well as those 2 little circles next to it, which I think are supposed to be pearls, but I don't know. So let's talk for a second then about the forges. So forge number 1, it's just how you increase, right? You wanna toss up another level, wanna add another star, you come to your forge. It's very, very simple, and you can get that. I actually don't know where they're gonna be in the new crafting system, so let me find it for a second. Perhaps here? No, perhaps here. No, let's go back to this one. Cornerstone, mounts, advanced professions, mobility, gear improvement. Gear improvement. They're all found in gear improvement, as a matter of fact. Shapestone, Foresight, Flux, and Primordial Flames. Very few of all of them, should not take you long to get that at all. Slightly more expensive, you got to get some Infinium, which isn't too bad, and 20 Enchanted Woods, which could take you a brief amount of time, but we'll give you the Enchanted Forge, which used to be called the Advanced Forge, and we'll talk about that, has a different use in a second. And as well, we have the Chaos Forge, which needs 13 Eyes of Cthulhu, which means you got to do some challenges if you have some higher level gear, or maybe some Shadow Arenas. That's another great way to do it, as well as some Infinium and Glim, which should be easy to get. So, once you have those, let's talk about the Enchanted Forge next. The Enchanted Forge allows for some extra functionality. So, for example, if I were to put this increases stat level. Wait a second. Oh, that's something different. Okay, well, anyways, I have a pearl in my chest, a pearl of wisdom. You can get those through trading pirates, as well as in the store, but they're very rare and pretty expensive, so you should save them for when you really, really need them. And what they do, use to add new stat and stat bonuses. So the way this works, oops, sorry, wrong thing, is that if I were to, okay, yeah, I see. So see how my staff here has 4 different stats on it: magic damage, max health, jump, and movement speed. You can't add more than 4 stats to a piece of equipment, so if I were to add this, it would give a 10% bonus to one of those things. For example, if I hit C and I hover over the staff, you can see there are 2 pearl icons next to magic damage. That means that there's a 10% bonus. I believe the number is 10% per each pearl, so there's a 20% bonus. So really, that should really read 1,200, because it's 1,000 plus 20%. Plus, on a sidebar note, all the damage, the 3% damage that I got from all my masteries, which brings it up to something. Well, actually, we can see if we press C and go to stats, we can see that my magic damage is actually increased by 45%, which is almost 50%. So that really should read 1,500 magic damage, or somewhere around there, a little lower, 1,400 magic damage, 1,450. Anyways, so great. So that's what the pearl does. But there's another more important, in my opinion, more important functionality to the pearl, which we are going to utilize right now, which is that if your gear, most gear you find out in the world, only has 3 stats on it. Maximum health, for instance, this face here has 3 stats on it. It has movement speed, magic damage, and maximum health. And you want to add a 4th stat to it, like the staff has. And this is what the pearl is mainly used for. So if I hit upgrade here, you're going to see we get a 4th stat on it. And I'm going to do that right now, because I need one. Health regeneration, 1,000 of it, because it's shadow level 3, so it gets to... It doesn't matter if you do that before you forge it or after you forge it, because it goes... The numbers that get attributed to that stat get kind of randomly rolled based on your shadow level, or the tier of the gear you're using. So, yeah, so that's what the pearl is used for. Moving right along. Let's grab the next thing. Hit this little arrow, you get to the Twinkling Tome, which I also have one of it. This I don't find to be too useful. It reduces the required level. So for example, if I were to switch to that Shadow Hunter, which we switched to before a minute ago, and I were to go here, I did get one of these, I don't remember where, but I can put on one of my relic hats. And if I did this, because relic, as you can see, requires level 10, as it says there in blue under the word relic, if I were to do that, it would to move down to level 9. So if you want to use a higher level gear earlier, you can. That's not really that important, if you ask me. It's kind of I mean, just level your character once more. You know, the highest it can get to is 10. It doesn't take that long, but it's there if you want it. Then we have randomized radiant aura. So this is something that is only available on, you see it switched it when I tried to put my staff in there, only available on that top level relic gear that I mentioned. This is kind of weird. It's kind of bugging out by the visuals, but it will make it so that the visual effects on radiant gear, sometimes the swords and staves, they look like they're on fire, or they got electricity around them, or whatever, they're going crazy. It has a visual effect on it, and this will randomize to a new visual effect if you don't like the one that you have. And that is the 3 functions of the Enchanted Forge. I can't show you that last one because I do not have any Radiant gear. But next we will move along to the Chaos Forge, which is a very interesting thing. We can see that it randomizes the 3rd and 4th stats. So, for example, here we have my new hat. I just added a 4th ability, and you should, before you do this, add your 4th ability with the Pearl. That order does matter for this one. And the reason being is because it's going to... There's 2 types of stats on gear. There's the first 2, which are stuck on there. For this one, that's maximum health and movement speed. You can't change those. If you need those to change, or you really don't want one of those, go out and find yourself a new piece of gear. Find yourself, in this case, a new face, or a new weapon, or whatever it is that it's on. But the second 2 can be changed by using the Tentacles and Flux. Tentacles you get rarely from killing the invaders that drop down from the sky in the adventure worlds, as well as I believe you can get them from shadow arenas, I think. I'm not so sure about that, but you can also buy them in the store. The second 2, in this case magic damage and health regeneration, can be randomized. If I hit this button, it would randomize the 2 and replace them with 2 new stats of approximately the correct level. you know, for Shadow 3. So it's not like by hitting this they would go back down to like small level 1 buffs. They would be big buffs, but they would be just different types of stats. I don't want to do that. I was hoping that maybe we would want to do that, so I could show you that. We have so many jumps on this guy. We have like, especially with this mount, I think we have 28 jumps. Anyways, but so we're not going to do that, but that is what it's used for. So now let's actually do some actual foraging, because that's kind of important. So that's kind of how it all works, but you kind of get to this weird situation that you may have noticed, where to upgrade the relic thing that I brought out with the Shadow Hunter, you can see that it required flux. And if I did, like, let's see, what's another thing? Do I have a resplent thing? I think I had one on the boomerang or something. No, there's no gear on the boomerang. Pirate Captain had some. Yeah. So if I show you here the resplent stuff, it also needs flux, right? But when you get to the shadow levels, you start needing these eyes. Great way to get eyes is through the challenges and through the shadow arena. The hourly challenges, that is. But once you get to 5 stars in shadow level 2, or 5 stars in shadow level 3, like we have here, in order to upgrade it, you need these things called the something forged shadows. If you're at shadow level 2, and you have 5 stars, and you want to bring it to shadow level 3, you need 2 twice forged shadow souls. If you are, like this face is right here, at shadow level 3 with 5 stars, and you want to bring it up to shadow level 4, you need 2 thrice forged shadow souls. And then to get it to shadow level 5, you need 2 four times forged shadow. I don't actually remember what that one's called, but you see, you get the point. And the way you get those is by, I have a twice forged here, as you can see. The way you get those is by deconstructing shadow gear of that level. So, to get these thrice forged shadow souls, we need to deconstruct shadow level 3 gear. In order to get shadow level 3 gear, we need to deconstruct shadow level 2 gear. So this really goes crazy after a while and gets super expensive. So let's see, do either of these have any stars yet? No, they don't. So we're not going to be able to do this, I don't think. But I can bring this up to, nope, we are out of eyes. We were so close. But if I upgraded this once more, it would let me. You don't need once forged shadow souls. If I upgraded this once more, you would see that, let's see, is there a challenge right now? And there's not. If there's a challenge right now, I'd just go do it and come back to you. But I don't have time, so. You would see it says shadow level 2. We would come over to the loot collector. Sorry, I keep calling it deconstructing. And I would put it in, and you can see that it gives me eyes and flux. You would get basically the same amount of eyes and flux. Or maybe you wouldn't get eyes and flux. I don't really remember. But you would get, if it was shadow level 2, you would get a twice forged shadow soul, which you would then come over here to the chest, get my other twice forged shadow soul out, or I guess you could leave it in there since it pulls from the chest, but whatever. Come back and put in another thing, right? Here's another shadow thing. Let's just do this as high as we can. And get that up until it was shadow level 2, 5 stars. Then you would consume this twice forged, and the other twice forged that you got for deconstructing this, or sorry, loot saving this, and you'd put that together into a thrice forged, and you would deconstruct that, and you would get a thrice forged shadow soul, thrice forged shadow soul, which is half of what you would need to upgrade this, because you see how you need 2 of them. So you got to do that whole process again. So it takes a while. Like I said, best way to get the eyes and flux together, in my opinion, or at least the quickest way without spending any resources, is to get one of your classes up high enough to be able to... Where'd that just go? Oh, there it is. Get your classes high enough to be able to do the challenges, even in the U1, and just try to get the first 2 caches for every hour. Just try to get the first 2 caches for you know, doing U1, or maybe even if you're able to do them quick enough, or if you have a bunch of friends, do them in U1 with the bonus class, so you get ×3 points, and then do them quick enough to get 4 caches by doing the first 2 challenges, which is get 10 points and get 40 points after that. So it's a total of 50 dungeons, but if you're doing it with the bonus class, that's 3, so that's less than 20 dungeons, basically, which isn't too hard to do in 20 minutes. If you get lucky and have a big enough biome with enough dungeons close to each other, and you have enough friends to defeat them quickly, and that kind of a thing. So maybe I'll do a video on those challenges later. I did one not that long ago, and it really hasn't changed that much, so it's not time for that video yet. But that is pretty much it for this video. I hope you found it useful. This is, like I said, probably the most important thing in the game. It's the only way you can get your classes to be above level 20, which is the only way that you can do some of the more end game tier stuff. It's the only way you're going to be able to survive Uber worlds. I recommend it. So, yeah, that's going to be it for me today. I think my next video is going to be a mining guide. Someone pointed out that my mining guide from before is terrible, probably because it is very, very outdated and not really all that helpful any longer, because there's a lot more in the game, and there's a lot more ways to get it all. So, I'll see you guys in that one. Hope you enjoyed. Thank you so much for the 2K subs, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.